Did you know that the people of the Roman Empire had a strikingly different approach to intimacy? Or that it's far different than what we're familiar with today? Prepare to be amazed as we delve into the world of scandalous affairs and bizarre practices that defined the lives of ancient Romans. Join us as we uncover the strange and often shocking aspects of intimate relationships in the Roman Empire. Let's go! The Romans had a more open attitude towards intimate relationships than many societies that followed. They believed that it was a natural part of life and saw it as a means of fostering bonds, building influences, and maintaining social order. Their acceptance of sexual pleasure and desire allowed them to enjoy it, but without the guilt and repression often associated with later periods in history. However, it's important to note that their views on it were still deeply rooted in a culture that valued social status, and one that adhered to specific gender roles. In Roman society, one's sexual behavior was often used as a measure of their character and social standing. For example, men were expected to be sexually dominant and demonstrate virility, while women were expected to be sexually submissive and modest. Homosexual relationships were also widely accepted, but the passive partner in such relationships, usually a man of lower status, was often stigmatized. Roman emperors and elite members of society were notorious for engaging in scandalous affairs and sexual exploits. Julius Caesar was rumored to have had numerous affairs with both men and women, including the wives of political rivals and even Cleopatra, the Egyptian queen. His promiscuity was both admired and criticized, as it demonstrated his power and virility, but also exposed him to political scandal. Emperor Tiberius, on the other hand, was said to have hosted intimate parties on the island of Capri, where he would indulge in various acts with men, women, and children. These shocking and debaucherous stories were chronicled by the Roman historian Suetonius, who wrote about the sexual behaviors of the emperors in explicit detail. Nero, another infamous Roman emperor, was also known for his passionate escapades. He married multiple women and was rumored to have had relationships with men as well. His behavior was considered scandalous even by Roman standards, as he was accused of having an intimate relationship with his mother and his sister. These scandalous stories were often recorded by historians and gossiped about among the Roman populace, highlighting their fascination with the lives of the rich and powerful and what happened behind closed doors. It is essential to remember that the accounts of these passionate exploits may have been exaggerated or even fabricated for political or personal reasons. Nonetheless, they provide a glimpse into the more salacious aspects of Roman society and illustrate the complex and sometimes shocking nature of intimate relationships in ancient Rome. The people of ancient Rome were not shy about expressing their desires and fantasies. Intimate graffiti adorned the walls of public spaces, revealing the sexual interests of everyday Romans. These inscriptions often contained explicit language and crude humor, showcasing a side of Roman culture that was far from reserved. Sculptures and sensual frescoes were also common in private homes, serving as a celebration of intimate relationships and a testament to the Roman appreciation for the human body. These artworks depicted various acts and positions, often with remarkable attention to detail. One of the most famous examples of Roman art is a collection found in the ancient city of Pompeii. Preserved by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD, the city offers a unique snapshot of Roman life, including its intimate practices. The sensual frescoes in Pompeii's brothels and private homes depict a wide variety of sexual acts, illustrating the diverse nature of Roman intimate relationships. In addition to visual art, Roman literature also contained explicit content. The poet Ovid, for example, wrote numerous works exploring themes of love, desire, and seduction, often in graphic detail. His most famous work, The Art of Love, is a didactic poem that offers advice on love and seduction, reflecting the importance of sexual prowess in Roman society. Overall, the intimate graffiti and explicit artwork of ancient Rome reveal a culture that embraced and celebrated intimate relationships in various forms. This openness towards intimacy stood in stark contrast to later periods in history, where such expressions would be considered scandalous and obscene. Some of the most bizarre aspects of Roman intimate relationships come from their unique beliefs and practices. For example, the Romans believed that the sweat of gladiators had aphrodisiac qualities, leading women to collect and even purchase their sweat for use in love potions. This practice was rooted in the notion that gladiators embodied physical strength and virility, and that their sweat could transfer these desirable traits to those who used it. In addition to gladiator sweat, various herb, plants, and animal parts were believed to possess aphrodisiac properties and were used in concoctions to enhance performance or desire. Similarly, Roman newlyweds would often consummate their marriage on a bed of lettuce, as it was believed to promote fertility. This custom can be traced back to the Roman fertility goddess Venus, who was associated with lettuce. Other fertility rituals included the wearing of amulets featuring phallic symbols, as well as the practice of carrying a bride over the threshold, which would protect her from evil spirits that could harm her fertility. Another peculiar practice was the Roman tradition of Lupercalia, an annual festival held in February. During this event, young men would run through the streets naked, whipping women with strips of animal skin called februa. It was believed that this ritual would increase a woman's fertility and ease the pain of childbirth. Roman men were also known to wear a phallic charm called a fascinus around their necks or on their clothing. This charm was believed to protect its wearer from the evil eye and bring good luck. Despite their seemingly liberal attitudes towards intimacy, the Romans also engaged in some disturbing practices. Slavery was common in the Roman Empire, and slaves were often subject to abuse and exploitation by their masters. Slaves, both male and female, were considered property, and their owners had the right to use them as they saw fit. This cruel treatment stands in stark contrast to the more open-minded aspects of Roman intimate relationships, and it highlights the power dynamics that permeated ancient Roman society. Additionally, pederasty, intimate relationships between adult men and young boys, was accepted in certain social circles, though it was not as widespread as in ancient Greece. Pederasty in Rome was typically practiced among the elite classes, where young boys, often slaves or dependents, would be taken under the wing of an older, influential man. These relationships were more than just intimate. They were also educational and mentorship-based, with the older man providing guidance and support in various aspects of the young boy's life. However, it's crucial to note that not all Romans condoned pederasty. Roman law and moral codes did draw some boundaries. For instance, the Lex Scantinia, a Roman law passed in the early 2nd century BCE, prohibited adult male citizens from engaging in passionate acts with freeborn male minors. The law aimed to protect the virtue of young Roman citizens and maintain social order. Furthermore, the practice of this in Rome was met with mixed reactions from the general populace. Some Romans viewed it as a reprehensible act that went against moral values, while others saw it as an acceptable part of upper-class life. Roman poets and writers often discussed it in their works, either condemning it or celebrating it, depending on their personal views and experiences. In conclusion, while the Roman Empire had a more liberal and open-minded approach to intimate relationships in many aspects, it also had its dark side. The exploitation of slaves and the practice of pederasty are reminders that Roman society was complex and multi-layered. This society had contradictions and moral ambiguities that continue to intrigue and challenge our understanding of ancient history. These are the bizarre and captivating lives of the people in the Roman Empire, and they've provided us with a remarkable and sometimes unsettling insight into society. The Romans held vastly different attitudes towards sexuality and relationships. From scandalous affairs among the elite to the brazen expression of desire in intimate graffiti, and from unconventional beliefs to troubling practices, the Romans certainly had a one-of-a-kind perspective on the intimate aspects of life. We hope you've enjoyed this eye-opening journey detailing the Roman Empire's peculiar sexual customs. And hopefully, this has piqued your curiosity and expanded your understanding of history. If you found this video thought-provoking and engaging, please give us a like, share this with your friends, and hit the subscribe button for more fascinating insights into the past. Thank you for joining us on this adventure, and we can't wait to see you next time for another thrilling exploration of history.